Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll be doing the history on Leo Fender, as well as the history on Orville Gibson and how the Gibson company started off. Leo Fender was born in California in 1909. He showed a unique interest in electronics from his early life. He loved messing with the electronics and spare parts from his uncle's auto electronics shop. He trained up to be an accountant, but never stopped repairing radios and other audio equipment. In 1938, he set up his own audio repair shop in Fullerton, and it was called the Fender Radio Service. In the late 40s, Leo Fender partnered up with Dale Haight and George Fullerton. They began to carve out designs for Spanish-style electric guitars tailored to meet needs for customers. After a few rough prototypes or two, Fender Musical Instrument Corporation released its first revolutionary model in 1950. Called the Fender Esquire. This is just a different variation to what later was called the Telecaster. However, this is just the rough mold of what the Esquire looked like back then. The Esquire obviously had some issues back then, but the most noticeable one was the neck. The lack of truss rod meant that the neck would just warp, and this is just down to the complete weather change, and it meant that the neck had to be replaced. Less than 50 were made, and this first model was then discontinued before the end of the year. Leo Fender and his associates, that being Dale and George, as mentioned before, made some adjustments to the Esquire design by adding an additional pickup and a much needed truss rod. Then issued the Fender Broadcaster back in 1951. The name Broadcaster did not stick around for long, as Gretsch had already laid claim to the name with the Broadcaster Drumline series. Fender decided to just simply cut Broadcaster off the decal, and the result was the Modulus Fender Nocaster. This is now part 2 of the video, which I'll be talking about the history of Gibson guitars. Gibson dates back to the 1800s, late 1800s, when founder of the company Orville Gibson was an instrument repairman from Kalamazoo in Michigan. Most instruments from this era were handmade products, whereas Orville decided then to build his own better quality standardized guitars. This is when the first standard was made in 1902. At the time, guitars weren't up to good standard, and Orville decided then to build upon that and make an instrument with better quality. Gibson would become synonymous with a wide range of guitar types, including acoustics, resonators, Hawaiian, and banjo. In 1936, Gibson released what is generally considered the most important instrument in musical history, the electric guitar. In the 1940s and the 1950s, the rise of electric guitar as a standard instrument, Gibson then decided to take the initial charge and development of these types of guitars. The first model was the ES 150, which then became part of the production in 1941.